What was the experience like last night, being able to step onto the ice in this building with the fans and everything?
Oh, that was so special. I think, if I'm gonna be honest, I was probably a bit more nervous tonight than I was the first two games. So, but it was awesome. I had a lot of family and friends here, and we were able to beat Boston at home. So it was awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool to be a part of a big win and a dramatic win like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I think just seeing how relentless the guys are and how hard they work every shift, even when we're down, it just shows the character in that room, and it was a great win.
As a kid that grew up here, what are your memories of that Boston rivalry and watching it?
Yeah, Boston rivalry. It's tough. I just remember watching all it was during school. I remember being at school watching on the projector with the whole grade watching together. So it's pretty special that I get to play against Marchand. He was there back then, and just that team. It was pretty cool.
What does it mean to you, Arsh, that Rick just told us you're here because you deserve to be here? It's not like a cup of coffee, we'll have a look and send you back. You're here because you deserve to be here. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, that's special that he says that. I know he talked to me today, and I think just trying to earn each day, right, and not take it for granted. I think the coaches believe in me, and the players they believe in me as well. So if I can help this team win, that's all I can ask for.
What have you come to learn at this level? A lot of times it's the stuff you can do and stuff you can't get away with at the NHL level. Like even your minor might have been a ticky-tack play that maybe it's let go in the A, but not here.
Yeah, for sure. I think every shift, you don't know when it's gonna bite you in the bum if you make a mistake, right? And at the same time, you got to be able to make plays and play your game. So I think just finding that balance, I think that's really important. And I'm learning a lot from the guys in this team and how they play and when to do what and when not to. So there's a lot of good players in that dressing room I'm learning from.
JT Miller was vocal from the outset after your first game, saying, "Playing with me." What does that mean to you to hear that come from a guy like Miller who believes you can play at this level?
Yeah, he's a hell of a player. I think he's a leader. He's kind of just took me under his wing a little bit there and he kind of helped me throughout that game. And you're going to have a good game if you play with him, and he's a real smart player, him and Best. So it was awesome that they let me play with him.
How do you look at your 3 games so far? Like, just as you assess, and how much do you sort of play that back through your mind and sort of, in terms of what you've been able to do and how much more you still want to do?
For sure. I think I'm not completely satisfied, if I'm going to be honest, and I feel like I could do a little bit better, but at the same time, I'm pretty proud of the way I've been playing, and I think there's more for me to give, and that's kind of the exciting thing. But at the same time, I feel like I got some looks, some scoring chances, and there's been some opportunity there, and I'm getting a good ice time. So I think it's going to be a good recipe if I keep heading this way. I think good things will happen.
Do you feel like you've been able to play your game at this level?
Yeah, for sure. I think at times I feel like I can really make plays and be smart with the puck, and kind of use my work ethic and speed. And at times I'm kind of maybe a bit behind play, but I think that's just a learning curve. I think when you first come to this league, it's a tough bounce, or a tough jump. But I think for me at all levels, I think it takes me a little bit of time to learn a little bit about the speed and how it works. And I think hopefully I'll hit the ground running here.
We always hear, like anybody that gets called up, they talk about the speed. It's the best league in the world. 3 games to look at it from ice level. Like, is it noticeably different than the AHL?
Yeah, I think it's faster for sure, but I think the guys are also faster, and the guys are getting open, and there's people to find, and it's a good speed. It's fast, and I think that's the way I want to play the game, and I think it's good for me.
RJ Ryan Johnson said that your speed will be better when you play with better players at the NHL level because you kind of complement them. Has that been the biggest gain? Because that's the toughest transition usually, right, from the A to the NHL, just the pace of the game, and you seem to be right there.
Yeah, for sure. I think just the pace and thinking how fast you can think on the spot, and like RJ said, I think I can make plays with guys that are moving quick, and it'll help me a little bit when I can see, guys that are working to get open, and I'll try to work to get open for them. But it's a good jump, but I think I'm handling it pretty well, and I think
Practice.
Yeah, really good. I thought it was a really good practice too. After the quick turnaround from that, it's kind of an emotional game. So as a coach, you always look at these practices, and I thought it was really well run by the players. Did a nice job.
How important is the practice time you're going to get here a little bit over the next week or so?
Yeah, for us, like angling drills, we paid attention to, like our 2-on-1s both ways. Things that we want to get better at. I think that's what we concentrate on today. A little bit of teamwork, but more the individual skill stuff that we get some guys that get some more touches with pucks, in certain situations. So I'm a firm believer that practice. Obviously, every coach wants practice, but this is a good timing to have a good practice.
You get a power play goal in overtime last night. I know it's not a
Yeah.
traditional 5-on-4 power play goal, but is that something those guys can draw confidence from going forward, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everybody knows we're a little tight, and we just got to be able to handle the pressure. And power plays are just one or two plays, and then you attack. Those are the best way to get out of it. And then when you get a couple goals, the other stuff seems to open up. You start to get looser, your hands get looser. I think, I just like to see a little more aggressiveness with beating pressure and take it to the net. And I think, what did we do on the? I know it was a 4-on-3, but won the face-off. Or I don't, did we win the face-off? I can't remember. But all I know is we went downhill. Millsy either shot it or went to the back door. Petey's open if they overplay something. So there was just a lot of aggressive mindset on that goal.
Right, were Tyler Myers' minutes part of your rationale with playing him this year? He's usually over 20. He's under 20. He seems to be playing a more simple, direct game. What have you come to appreciate about him this year?
Well, I think having the depth on D. Mizey's been, for me, one of our best all year. Consistency. He's like anybody. You're gonna have some tough stretches, but I think he's really consistent. He's a systems guy. When he knows what's going on around him, he's a really good player, and I think that's what he loves about footy. Our coaching staff is our system in place. He knows 85-90% of the time wherever he's going to be, and I think that really helps him.
He said that's really important because I asked him about yesterday was jumping up into play. Him and Z, was that part of the game, the temperature of the game? He said it's the confidence of knowing what to do in his own end is allowing him to move up confidently.
Yeah, I don't care how much pressure, or if it's Game 7 of Stanley Cup or it's first game of the year. You got to play the same way. You don't change because of the pressure, and I think that's what our team's learning is play the same way. You got to be creative, and that's that 15%. You might see something different, go for it. But 85% of the time, most of the time what we want you to do, and I think that's why Mizey's had a really good year for us.
3 games now for Steve.
Yeah.
I remember when I asked you in Seattle the other day, you said the first one is the first one. Now it's can he keep it at a level? In totality, 3 games. What do you think you've seen from him?
I'm a big fan. I like him a lot. I think there's another level, and that's when playing in the NHL. He's earned a spot right now. I don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe it's the rest of the year, but he's earned a spot. I know guys enjoy playing with him. I've had a couple of players come up to me individually and say, "Hey, don't be afraid to throw him on my line." So I think that's the ultimate compliment for that kid is, that a lot of players want to play with him, but he's also doing the little things, and that I love. Really good on the forecheck and handle the puck, and he's not scared. He gets inside.
Are you big on that? Because you could say, we might give a guy a cup of coffee, but we got a bigger thing here. We're trying to stay first overall. But you're more of a reward system, right? The guy deserves to be here. Play him regardless.
If he's earning a job, that's the internal competition, right? Listen. There was about 6-7 minutes left, and I put Teddy on the left side for some other reasons, and it wasn't. I told him today it wasn't him doing anything wrong. So sometimes like that, you put the veteran there in a situation, but if he's earning his job, he's going to be in the lineup. That's just the way it works. That's but we have other guys too. You got to give them some rope. Don't get me wrong. There is some history where a guy's played well for you, and maybe he's had a couple of games. You can't just all of a sudden put this guy behind. There's got to be a give and take. But for the most part, he's done a really nice job in those 3 games.
There was a time when you had Petey between Kuzmenko and Mikheyev, and they had a lot of chemistry. Like you had Mikheyev with Petey. Mikheyev was better yesterday. Are you seeing anything there in Mikheyev's game?
Yeah, I thought he was better last game. I really did. He had that chance in front. Can he stay? We just needed him to use his speed. We needed a couple of loose pucks. And the PK, he's got to be able to block some shots there. I think if he can stay consistent, you never know, right? But it's one game. He's got to raise his, and I don't know if he's going to stay there. I don't know, but I like the way that all the lines played. There was some good chemistry. I like the 4 centerman look we have. It's pretty damn good centerman look when you have it down there. So sometimes some wingers are gonna have to rotate with other centermen. That's just the way the world we live in.
This market gets consumed with PD, whether he's producing or not.
Sure.
We had a chat with him before practice today. Well,
No, he was actually.
just asking you.
He was just had some talking about some stuff on the ice about a little bit of power play, some strategy wise. I love when he does that. He doesn't do it very often, but that was big that he came out. Yeah, just some strategy stuff.
Rick, any chance that either of the injured guys join the group, the main group, for practice this week here?
Seuss and Dakota, they're not right now, but I mean, I don't know the exact date. I mean, it's getting close.
Yep.
But the good thing is, that you see them skating. It's going to really help when they come back, where they don't have to. If you have a knee injury, it takes you a lot longer. So, with these guys, with their injuries, hopefully it's an easy transition.
I know it's a couple days off, but Sid's 36, playing like he's 26 and has 31 goals. What level of amazement do you have that he's still the engine that drives that team?
Well, I just remember we played him a month ago, and he was the best player on the ice. We actually played a good game, especially early on. But the third period, he cranked it up, and I'm like, I looked at footy and go, this guy's 36, and how many more years can he play? I mean, the way he's playing, he could play in his 40s. I mean, he takes care of himself. His hockey IQ is outstanding. And the one thing people understand, he doesn't cheat. He plays a 200-foot game. He doesn't cheat. If he wanted to, and I keep telling people this, he could have 20 more points a year, 100%. 100%.
Like, has Gensel made a career on the back door by being there, knowing that Sid's going to get up the puck?
I mean, I'm sure Gens is going to give his next contract a little percentage. But Gens is, I'll tell you what, talking about over the last years, the Marchands, the pressure player, he ranks up there in playoffs. He's scored some big goals for that franchise the last 6-7 years, big goals.
So are you in the mind that you could build it, if you're going to revamp Pittsburgh, you could build a team, have Sid come back and bring a young core up just because of his presence and his leadership?
Well,
He's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he can play another 5 years at that level, I think. Okay. And so, there's ample opportunity for that team to turn things around.